The moon in Libra, much like the moon in Virgo, is mostly a collection of harmonious resonances between the planet and the sign. But there is one nagging undercurrent of a dissonance. Well, let's explore what those things are right now. So let's start off with the harmonious resonances. And the first one that comes to mind is that Libra is quite art-oriented because it has Venus's nature. Venus is the ruler of the sign, and it's an air sign, so it's sensitive. So it's artful and artfully aware, and therefore tends to be beautiful, or at least be sensitive to beauty. And the moon is the feminine principle. So the moon is also a beautiful symbol. It's the most beautiful planet in the sky. So you have this resonance between the moon and Libra, where they both have to do with beauty. And therefore, as a result, the basic interpretation that you should be working with when you think about the moon in Libra is, here's somebody who's probably good looking, or they know about beauty. So that can branch off into many different things depending on what kind of a chart it's in. They could be involved in fashion, they could be involved in art, they could be involved in design. Another harmonious resonance between the moon in Libra is that the moon is domestic and Libra is very good at cooperation. Domesticness implies relationships. It's homey. It's family-oriented. So you expect people who have the moon in Libra are probably going to wind up being pretty good at cooperative partnerships. That, the flip side of that may be that they really don't operate well in hierarchical settings. They don't like to be inferior nor superior. They like to be equal with others. They like to have balance in the partnership. So that's one of the flip sides, but the main interpretation here is, here's a person that knows how to cooperate, and so therefore is probably pretty easy to get along with, as long as I'm not of the opposite type of nature. If I'm of the type of nature where I want somebody to be superior to me or I want somebody to be inferior to me, then I'm not going to get along well with a moon and Libra person because they're not going to want to take either position. A third harmony between the moon and Libra is that Libra is quite sensitive and the moon's quite emotional. So Libra's sensitivity, again, has to do with its being owned by Venus and being an air sign, and therefore it's acute or it's aware. It's not dull. And this is why Libra is empathetic. It can empathize with others. It can sympathize with others. And that in turn leads to why Libra is fair. It cares about other people as much as itself. So it's a feeling sign. It's a sign where there's a lot of potential to be feeling. The moon likes feelings. It likes to feel. It's the mind, it's the emotional planet. So we have a basic harmony here between the moon being emotional and Libra being empathetic. So, simple thing, moon in Libra, the native is sensitive, empathetic. Flip side of that is, maybe they care too much about what other people think about them. But generally speaking, the baseline for this is it's a good thing. They're quite sensitive. They care about other people. They can feel, they can put themselves in other people's shoes. And there's also one more harmony between the moon and Libra that I'd like to bring to your attention, and that's a financial thing. Moon being the planet of desire has a capitalist nature to it. It's interested in acquisition. And Libra, being very good at negotiating and exchanging with things, gets to be good at commerce or trade. So there's a harmony between Libra favoring trade and the moon favoring acquisition. And so the basic interpretive outcome from this is you should expect a person with a moon in Libra to be pretty good at business, pretty good at commerce, pretty good at selling things. Not necessarily as a salesman, but pretty good at understanding what customers need. Now, at the end of this, let's talk about that one kind of nagging background dissonance. And that would be the fact that Libra really values equality, but the moon, very deep at the root of what it symbolizes, is that it's a subjective locus. It's the mind. That's the deepest symbol of the moon, is mind. And the mind is your subjective vantage point. So the mind is very self-y, or very individuated. Libra is very self-diffusing. It's very partnershipy. So there's your clash here between self and non-self, self and others. It can easily push to being over-dependent on partners, needing partners. And you also find that there's a struggle in the Libra moon native to try to balance your own needs versus the needs of your partner. It's the question of individuality versus non-individuality, and how to be partnership-oriented and cooperative and fair without denying yourself what yourself needs. Now, what we do in these videos with the planets and the signs is I show you a consistent technique that you can use for any planet and any sign. And the technique is very simple. You look for where the planet symbolizes something that's very, very similar to what the sign symbolizes. And once you find that, you assess whether or not the planet and the sign are harmonious about that thing, or whether they're antithetical about that thing. The dissonant resonance reveals what's complex or difficult for the native. The harmonious resonance, on the other hand, indicates what's easy, what comes natural, what's an inherent strength for the native. What I'm teaching you really is the method of how to do astrological interpretation by going down into the engine of the symbolism and comparing the parts. The actual interpretation that you should give is going to be individualized per the individual chart. So if you have person A with the moon in Scorpio and person B with the moon in Scorpio, it's not going to be exactly the same interpretation, because person B's moon might have an aspect from something and person A's moon doesn't, etc., 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 etc. But what I'm showing you in the videos is the backbone of what a planet and a sign symbolizes. And once you understand that backbone, you modify it based on the circumstances, the extraneous circumstances that are affecting an individual chart. So I hope you really like this system, not just this one video, but all the videos that we do on the planets and the signs. We'll do them all. And I hope you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of those. And I hope to see you around soon. Thank you.